Hey everyone, welcome to the show and to what I know is going to be a great conversation. My guest this week is an incredibly talented artist who's honoring the legacy of her grandmother while at the same time carving out her own path in the world of country music. Please welcome to the conversation, Tayla Lynn. Hey Tayla, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much.
And thank you. And I will tell you, folks, you may not know this, but here's a little inside baseball. So, where Taylor is, the weather isn't that great right now, but she's a trooper. We have been working on finding a place where we can still have this conversation, and we were not going to be denied. So, Taylor, thank you for your flexibility, and I'm so glad to have you here today.
You're welcome. I'm on Main Street in our little town of Waverly. I live at the Loretta Lynn Ranch. So if somebody comes by and I know them, I'm gonna have to smile and say hi. So just wait for that.
Absolutely. There you go. We keep it real here on the conversation. That's for sure. Now, I actually was looking forward, Taylor, to talking with you about a couple different things, maybe taking a quick look back, a little bit of a look ahead, but for the here and now, and actually at the time we're recording this conversation, we are just a few short days away from May 30th when your second solo album, Singing Loretta, drops. So I have to know what inspired this amazing project and how did it all come together?
You're so kind. I love singing Meemaw, first of all. I grew up singing with her. When I was about 20 years old, I went on the road with her as a job, and she is just a really wise businesswoman. I think the more I think back on it, because she and I decided I would sing her songs. And so the fans loved that. They loved when I would sing her stuff. And I've had my own record deals, I've done my own music, but I've always incorporated her music with it. And so she, the first, she was still with us the first time I did the record with Heart of Texas, and she kind of helped me pick those songs out. And the second time around, I just did ones that I loved of hers. And I don't know. I can't say any more than I'm just a fan of hers and I'm excited I get to do it.
Yeah.
And I love singing that music. It's my favorite music.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate each and every one of you. And we also appreciate our first and longest running sponsor of the show, Tom and his team of insurance professionals at the Malin Agency. If world class customer service and doing business with someone you can trust is important to you, give Tom and his team a call today for all your insurance needs. It absolutely is. And I think what's so cool about it is, as I mentioned right at the outset, you're honoring your grandmother's legacy, but there's also you in there, your voice. And I've had the opportunity to speak with several second and third generation artists, and they've all had very interesting, stories to tell. And sometimes it's challenging carving out that path, balancing it. How do you manage to do it in the genuine and authentic way that you do?
Um, Gosh, I don't know. I do think I'm a lot like Nemo. So I'm naturally kind of do what she does. I'll never be her. I don't try to. Some inflections I have are similar to her, but I don't ever try to sing like her. I'll never be her. I don't know. I don't think about it too much, and I think the difference is that I sang with her so much.
Mm.
So I didn't have to. I didn't think about separating or differentiating. I just kind of did what she told me to do, and I carry that on. If that makes
Wow.
sense. I don't know. I just people will say like, is it hard living in the shadows, or do you? And I don't find any of that really hard. I think now with social media, sometimes it's harder because people can say a lot of mean things behind their
Oh,
keyboards, but
yeah.
when it's live, people they seem to love it, and they've always been kind to me, live and at her shows, and when I'm doing my own thing. And so I don't even know. I don't even remember what the question was anymore, babe. I just kind of answered in a
No, you
row,
did.
and
It
I
was,
can't remember the original.
but it was basically everything you just said. It was kind of like,
Okay.
how do you manage to do things the way you do in that genuine, authentic way while kind
Yeah.
of balancing honoring your grandmother, but being Taylor?
Well, you know what? I think things that I do are if I'm singing Coal Miner's Daughter, I try to just stand really still and let that song speak for itself. I don't put myself in that at all. I really just try to let the people hear that song. Um, I would dress differently probably if I wasn't honoring her or her fans. I'd probably wear a little bit, this is going to sound terrible, but like maybe a shorter skirt or something. And I'm not going to do that with her fans. So I do try to respect her fans in that way, but that's probably it. That sounded terrible about the clothes, but the women have a lot to say about the clothes I wear. And I'm like, this thing is to my knees. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. And and I'm showing my shoulders. I mean, you should see what I would like
Wow.
to wear. I mean, Ella Langley, she dresses amazing. That's what I would like to wear.
No, absolutely. Well, it is amazing. Like you said, sometimes there's people behind the keyboard with nothing better to do than to just say negative things. And Taylor, I have to say, for what it's worth,
How are you?
you know, just so you know, this show was launched about 7 years ago to provide people with a place where negativity does not exist.
I
It's
love
about
that.
conversation, it's about positivity, inspiration, and just like we're doing right now. And if there's ever a negative comment anywhere, which there's been very few, they're gone before the ink's dry on their keyboard. It's out of there.
That's really interesting. For Twitty and Lynn, Conway Twitty's grandson,
Yeah.
I know we'll probably get into that later. We have a big we are growing our social media, and we really debate on if we delete those comments or not. It's interesting to hear other people's,
Yeah.
take on it, because we debate on it because you want the truth to be out there. You don't want to really delete it, but it brings me down and it brings other people down to read that ugly stuff. So I love to hear that you just delete that. I think that's where we're
Yeah.
going to start heading, because it's hurtful. It's hurtful to other people that see it too. And Meemaw used to say that it was hurtful to her to read that stuff about me. Hey, oh, you even cuter. And I'm doing it now too. Nice to see you. Hi, thank you so much. See,
Well,
people are really kind in person. She just said, I see you online all the time and you're even cuter in person. That's who we need to be. I
there
mean,
you
I don't
go.
know.
Yeah.
She was so kind.
Yeah, and it takes just as much energy or just as little energy to say something nice as it does something negative. And I'll tell you, Taylor, for what it's worth, like if somebody's just being maybe a critic or something and it's reasonable, I'm okay. But it's when there's anything that's nasty or just
Just nasty.
unnecessary. There's no need
Yes.
for it. And I will tell you, there are some people that say, oh, well, you should leave them on there because that's engagement and social media is about
Yeah. That's the
engagement.
thing, right?
So it's not an easy decision to make, and I'm not saying that I make the right one. I just try to apply a filter. Is this something I would want someone's mother to see or something like that, and then kind of take it from there?
Well, and I think about my kids reading this stuff about their
Yeah,
mom, because they're
yeah,
not on social media yet, but there's history there, right? So they can always go back and see that stuff. And I think, do I want to leave this up for engagement? But then my little boys are going to see how this woman is talking to
yeah,
me, or like, I mean, is that worth it? Is that worth the engagement? And
right.
no, it's not when you think about it that way.
No, absolutely. Now, I do want to come back and talk about you and Trey because there's a really cool story about how you guys came together as a duo, and I want to come back to that. But before we do, I want to just talk a little bit more about you, and that's when you look back, you said you started singing with your grandmother when you were 20. How would you describe your growth as an artist, over the years?
Well, I sang for the first time probably when I was around 14 with her. I sang Honky Tonk Girl.
Okay.
And then I went out on the road with her and I didn't talk at all. And I'm the chattiest person in the world. I was so nervous and I didn't think I could belt out music. So I was very timid. Um, I was also an alcoholic at a young age. So I sort of drank away the opportunities around that time. Have a good day. Thank you. I drank away those opportunities, I think, for a few years. And then when I got a development deal with RCA Records, they really liked this sort of, Dina Carter was in at that time and Cindy Thompson, and I could do sort of that thing. And they really liked that voice, and that really wasn't my voice. So Meemaw helped me get back out of that and get to a place that comes from my guts, really, singing from
Yeah.
a strong place. But that's taken me years. And I don't even think it had anything to do with vocal training as much as just like being um, confident in your own, what you can do, confident in yourself. And it's repetitive. It's doing it. We're doing 100 shows a year out there. So we're singing all the time, just
Yeah.
all the time. So that's another thing too. I think just practicing, but I don't practice when I'm alone, I don't think, but I
Well,
hate practice.
well, you're not the only one, but I will say this though, with everything you're doing, you've got your solo career going, and now I'm going to circle back to you and Trey, Twitty and Lynn. So can you share the cool story as to how you guys came together as a duo?
Yeah. So Meemaw, Loretta, every summer would do on the 4th of July would do a concert called Remembering Conway. And she would have out Conway's family during I think they started in 95 or something, late 90s. And his family would come sing, or friends or whatever, Ronnie McDowell, those guys, and T.G. Shepherd, Kelly Lang. And Trey was there singing Tight Fitting Jeans. And I was sitting in the back and I was like, God, that guy can sing really well. Like, who is that? So Meemaw's like, that's Conway's grandson. You guys should meet. We met. I said, do you want to ever do any shows together? He said, I'm really into my photography right now. He wasn't interested. A couple weeks later, he wrote me and he said, let's explore this. And we did a show together and people just loved it. Meemaw loved the idea. And we started talking to her about like, how would we do this? And at first I did a set by myself and then he did a set by himself. And then we would come together and do like three duets. And then we started just talking on stage together somehow. And we became a duo and we've been doing it since 2018 is when we officially did that.
Yeah, and you guys pack a lot of theaters. I mean, we talked before we turned the recording on because again,
Yeah.
as folks that watch the show know that the show's recorded in advance of when it premieres. So when this episode premieres, it'll be about 24 hours after your second of two shows at the American Music Theater in
Yes.
Lancaster.
I, yes. And that is a big theater for us. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it might be 1,600 seats, something like that, might something around 1,200, something
Yeah, I
like that.
believe it's a little over 1,000. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we sold it out last year, and that was shocking because my grandmother had played there. Whenever we go somewhere Meemaw's played and I've played with her, I'm I just, the humility, like the humbling of like, oh my gosh,
Hmm.
this gift that she gave me to be able to do it, but also that people are coming to hear us sing the grandparent song, and then they come back. That they're back this year. Like, it's crazy how the people keep coming back, and it's like Meemaw would always say, "I can get you in the door, but I can't let you make you stay. I can't get them to like you, but I can
Yeah.
open the door." And it's working. And I don't know if that's, you want to call that cosmic or God or hard work or just, I don't know. Meemaw had a huge hand in it.
Yeah, and I will also say for folks who are watching, if you go to YouTube and watch some of the videos of Tayla and Trey together, and some of those videos you guys have put out are in the millions of views,
It's
and the sound
crazy.
is incredible, absolutely incredible.
Thank you. It's insane. I have tried to do it on my own for a long time, and I would get like, right here, and then it would just kind of stalemate. And when Trey and I came together, I'm the one that's chatty and outgoing, and he's more introverted, and he's more about the business and counting the money and making sure that things are lined up. I don't do any of that.
That's a big
And it's
part of
all
it,
but
though.
it's the part of it, isn't it? Um, it just lined up, and what he doesn't have, I have, and what I don't have, he has, and we'll do it until we can't do it anymore. I mean, it's just, that's my main thing that I do, and I've only had baby wanted to be able to support my family with
Yeah.
music, and my husband works full time, and he's runs a company and he's wonderful. But this part of me being gone, it's working enough to where the sacrifice is worth it being gone, monetarily, I guess. I don't know
No,
if you're supposed to talk about that. But.
yeah, absolutely. And something just popped into my head. It's a question I love to ask, and especially Taylor, for someone like yourself, you've been very open about so many things in your journey,
Yeah.
and I'm just so happy for all the great things that are happening for you right now. But if you were to look back over all you've done in your career, what would you say you're most proud of?
In the career,
In
like,
your career or in your life, just in general, what are you most proud of?
oh, I mean, that's just such a big question. I mean, I'm obviously really proud of myself for staying sober, but that's God. So I guess are you proud of your relationship with God? I don't know. I'm grateful that I put in the work every day to pray and try to connect with God. I'm proud of being in a marriage for almost 14 years and happily married with two little kids. Marriage is work, and he makes a lot of sacrifices for me to be out on the road. Even today, our kids are homeschooled, and like me having to run out during school and try to figure out like how to make everything work and just chaos. And he's just so steady. And like, my mother was married many times, and so was my dad. And so to like stay in a marriage with the kid's dad is amazing. But I think also just being nice. I try to be nice and not cause a lot of drama even in my family. And I feel like I've succeeded so far in that. I'm sure I have caused drama in the past, but I don't know. And I love this town. I'm proud to be a part of this community. I grew up in another town, but this is the little city connected to Hurricane Mills, where the Loretta Lynn Ranch is. And I try to do good works here and be nice. And I don't know. Is that stupid?
Absolutely not. And I think for what it's worth to me, from everything I've seen clips of you talking with other folks, and obviously just in your music and even some of the stories you share in between songs and like that. There's three words that I will say I would attribute to you and everything I've seen, and that's genuine, real, and authentic. And to me, that's success when you can be those things, and it's because it's who you are.
Yeah. Well, thank you. As far as like career goes, I mean, just the fact that we talked about it a minute ago, the fact that we do the shows and people come to them and we get to have a job because of our grandparents. Like we don't take that lightly. I did this motorcycle event last weekend, and I had on like a bathing suit and a motorcycle t-shirt and a bandana and a flag. And my dad drove by, and I was like, I'm not a motorcycle girl. I mean, my God. And he started dying laughing at me. And he goes, anything not to get a real job, huh, baby? And I said, no, I'm doing this, Daddy. I mean, today I'm a motorcycle girl. I'm a hostess at the ranch, Daddy. And we just laugh because, he's worked with my grandmother since he was like 10. So he's just passing it down. Just to be able to do this and have longevity with it's crazy. I mean, and that we're allowed to. I mean, that she said yes. I wouldn't do it had she not said, yes, do that. Yes, you're allowed. Yes, I'm proud of you. And she would tell people, and they tell me now, Taylor works hard. And for me to work hard is kind of a laugh, from my past. Like that Loretta Lynn would see me as somebody that works hard is I mean, that's something to be proud of for sure, coming
Yeah.
from somebody who just, hey girls, just pulled it up by the bootstrings or straps or whatever you say.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So, Taylor, I know you've got a lot of other folks to talk with today. So, I have one last question for you. So, we kind of look back and talk about what you were most proud of, and you touched
Hmm.
on what I'm about to ask a little bit. But if you were to look forward, what would
Hmm.
success ultimately look like for you?
I mean, I think that I always want to sing my grandmother's music. I think I'm a songwriter too, and being able to have just a branch of that stuff, but remain in the Loretta. Sorry, there's a tractor trailer. I should do that. That would have been hilarious had he done it. To be able to have a branch of that, to write for Trey and I, and to have that branch in Twitty Land, for me to be able to write a book about, the things with my sobriety and recovery and family. To do that, I think would be success. My husband and I want to retire in Yellowstone Park
Ooh,
in an RV and, ride bikes around and hike when we're
oh, can I
70.
come?
So,
I love
yeah, doesn't that
Yellowstone.
sound amazing?
Yeah.
We went to Old Faithful one Christmas two
Oh,
years ago, and you have to ride like a snow track to get up there. And there was this lady there. She was maybe 65 or older, I don't know. And they had retired, and she and her husband, she was the hostess at the restaurant, and her husband drove the snowplow thingamajig. And they were so happy. And I said, babe, this is what we need to do. And he agreed. And so we want to like retire in an RV, but I got to make enough money to get to that point. So I guess I'm going to keep working for the next, I hope people keep coming for 15 years. That's kind of if I can
Yeah.
get another 15 years of singing it.
Well, you keep doing what you're doing, and there's 15 is the bare minimum that I think people are going to come to see it. That's for sure. And Tayla, again, I just want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day, especially with everything that's going on down there,
You're
to join me.
awesome. I really like you.
Oh, thank you.
You're very easy to talk to, and you're different than maybe it's because you're in Philadelphia, yeah.
Yeah, see, we're not all mean and nasty. Some of us can be
Oh,
nice.
our guy that does our music videos, he's a Philly guy, and now they live somewhere in Delaware. But Steve John of 1010 Creative, that's what he's a Philly guy, and he loves it, and he's all Philly to the core. I mean, that's his whole vibe, and so I love y'all. This is great.
Well, we love you too, Taylor. And I'll say this is big country music territory around here. That's for sure. Whether it's
Yeah.
Philadelphia, the suburbs, even into Jersey, and especially Delaware, like it's all around here is big country music territory.
Where's Joe Biden from?
He's originally from Scranton, which is sort of
Oh,
northeastern PA, but he was a
yeah.
senator in Delaware for a long time. So
Wherever that was is where my music director lives. Wherever that is in Delaware, I can't remember. I keep wanting to say like Rehoboth.
yeah, he had I think his summer place was there.
Maybe that was it. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's all great areas, all
Can you
great. What is
come
great?
to the show?
You know what? On Sunday, I literally, we talked about that before we started the recording, and I've already put it on my calendar. So,
I'll see you there. I'll put you on the list because I want you to come
no,
so you can see
absolutely.
what we're doing in
Yes.
person.
See it live. There's nothing like it. No,
Yes. And
absolutely.
then you'll have to interview Trey, and Trey and I together.
Oh, there
Yeah.
you go. I've
Yeah,
been there
Trey's
before.
a totally different interview. I think you'd really like him. He's such an eloquent speaker and has so much history and knowledge. I mean,
Yeah.
you'll really like him.
No, I would love to do that, Taylor. Definitely looking forward to having another conversation with you and
Perfect.
in Lancaster, and also having you back on the show. I've enjoyed every minute of this.
Thank you.
I wish you the best the rest of the day with the rest of your interviews, and I look forward to seeing you in
You're
person
so
in just a
sweet.
few days.
Sorry I was late. Thank you for making
That's
it work.
it's okay. It was worth every minute of it, Taylor. And
Oh,
so
thank you.
thank you again. I'll see you this weekend. And folks, thank you for watching. Couldn't do it without you. We'll see you next time. This week's episode has been brought to you by Doherty & Company Insurance Services for all your business and personal insurance needs. Our friends at Tennis Addiction in Exton, PA. And the Malin Agency, where exceeding expectations is how they do business.